Earlier, we talked with number 13, B.J. Wilson. That's right. Watch out for the wet paint. Standing here in Victory Lane with B.J. Wilson, one of the street stockers here at Bridgecity Speedway. B.J., this is not your regular car. You ran into some opening night problems for the Street Stock Invitational. What happened to you?
Well, we made about 15 laps on the new track, and I think we tore the front pump out.
Took it right out, eh?
Yeah, front pump, and seized up and took the yoke off the back of the differential.
And that's no yoke.
That's no yoke.
That gets you to Plan B. What is Plan B for day 2 of the Street Stock Invitational? Notice you got a brand new car here. Well, it's not a brand new car, but it's not your regular car.
It's experienced. A friend of mine, I sold it to a friend of mine a couple of weeks ago, and we stuck a motor in it last night just so we could make the day today.
Can you tell us a bit about the car? Now, have you raced dirt as well as pavement? Is there any kind of major difference that fans should know about?
Yeah, dirt's a little looser. It's a lot more fun. You have to really actually make your move in the first few laps. You're pretty well stuck in a position.
We got you going around making some circles here at Bridgecity Speedway prior to the day's racing. What exactly are you doing when you take your car around the track all by yourself?
Well, I'm just going to see how it works. I've never ever driven this car before, so it seems to push a little bit, but it seems to be powering all right with that motor, so not bad for a $200 clunker. Okay,
well, you can't really get anything out of the, as far as the invitation goes, the big money, but you're out here, you can still win some day money, can't you?
Sure can. I'd like to at least pick up a check or two today.
What is the biggest difference between a Thunder and a Street and, say, a Super Stock? Can you explain maybe the three and the biggest difference?
Well, your Thunder Stock is your basic, everyday four-door sedan off the street. You knock the windows out and put a cage in. It's kind of a learning experience is what it is. I would say if you guys out here take a little too serious in Thunder Stock, Street Stock is going up one stand. You're allowed to go to your, 116-inch wheelbase or whatever it is and put a 6-point cage in it. But then your Supers are starting to look like $15,000, eh? So it's kind of, Street Stock's in between the two.
What does it cost you to race on a daily basis here? Is it expensive, or can anybody get into it?
It can work. It works out to be expensive. I think I spent, yesterday it cost me $70. I never even got any laps in, so.
So sponsors have to be a big part of success for you, eh?
Yeah, Mom and Dad have been real good this year, so.
It's great sponsorship, eh?
Yeah.
B.J. Wilson, best of luck to you at Bridgecity Speedway here, and we go back to the racing. A hot and windy afternoon in Saskatoon, or just outside of Saskatoon. If you can get a shot of the flags in the wind, they're standing straight out. And I wonder now, Dave, would that create any kind of a difference in the flow of the car? Would coming back, would there be some control problems, do you think? You've raced on this track.
Right, I don't expect that the wind would affect the street stocks very much in racing today, but the Supers with the increased speed and the aerodynamics of the cars with the crosswind, they may encounter some problems when cornering, especially, I would think, up in corner 3 and 4.
Exactly, and I'm just wondering if there's any kind of an airfoil caused when they come up around corner number 2, especially if they come in low and go up high, whether or not any kind of an air would give them a stability problem with, of course, with the heat and the tires grabbing so well today. And naturally, the Thunder cars, nothing affects them, right? They just get out there and roll. We'll show you Thunder car action. Yeah. We'll show you some Thunder car action this afternoon. And now there's a hat that has just fallen off the track truck here. And if that hat isn't picked up shortly, it won't be there much longer.
An interesting aspect to our Street Stock Invitational, Bob, is the change in the tire rule that we have for our Invitational here at Bridgecity Speedway. We run a 70 series tire. Any 70 series tire is what's used by our Street Stocks on our regular race meets here at Bridgecity Speedway, but during an Invitational, they can run McCreary 60 series tires, and quite a few of the cars run the McCreary Racing Tire 60 series for the Invitationals, and it really does increase the handling and speed of the cars, especially in cornering.
Is it a narrower tire, a 60 series tire?
No, actually, it's a wider tire.
It's a wider tire.
I believe it's a lower profile tire.
Let's take a look at our last heat race here. We went number 44, Michael Pethick of Elstone, his 71 Mustang. You said there's very few Fords racing here today. Grainfield's car, 01, I believe is what it is. Ron Creelman driving that. It's usually driven by Mike Asham or Yvonne Blanchette. It's a 72 Chevelle. Good-looking car. There's Pepe's number 5.
The ice cream machine of Wes Gakins.
He's going to be a tough one, He's a good racer. Always puts in a good show.
Wes, a very aggressive driver, always up there near the front of the pack.
Number 86 from Saskatoon to Monte Carlo is Brian Johnson. He's on the outside of lane 2. Outside lane 3, number 77, Dave Allard of Bigger in a 67 Buick. Then we have the number 1 car. That's Jim Smith in a 74 Nova. We continue to look down there. This is the slow heat now. Number 14, That would be Wade Wolford of Saskatoon, a 68 Chevelle. Number 9, that's Kevin Eby or Kurt Udegaard, probably Kevin. Young Kevin, Wally's son, driving that car today.
Right.
Part of the race team. Kurt may drive the feature, though. The 74 Olds Omega. Then number 88, bringing up the rear, is Mace Canute, who is a Thunderstock racer who decided to go street stock. Oh, here they go, right off the bat.
The Grainfield car.
Yeah.
The Van Blanchette looks like it.
Ready for the Grainfield.
I think perhaps it's ready for the...
Boy, that didn't take long to cook that engine, did it?
My.
Okay, let's continue. Now, Wes Gaken, meanwhile, has taken a complete lead here. And he's ahead of number 1, Jim Smith.
And out comes the car.
Oh, they've cautioned them. So down they go. No doubt they spilled more oil on this track, and that'll have to be cleaned up. That will have to be cleaned up.
Because we didn't get a complete lap, and I think we'll have an original restart on this race, Bob.
Exactly. Looks like they'll be pointing it for a restart as they get the Grainfield car off the track. And I guess Grainfield has 2 cars here. They have a street stocker and a super stocker, which we'll be getting a look at later on today.
Actually, the next race.
Yeah, but we will be coming back to cover the super stock feature race as we feature the Street Stock Invitationals here at Bridgecity Speedway. By the way, for you people that are interested, we will have a Super Stock Invitational here come September. Dave, give the date. September, what,
I
4th?
believe it's the 4th and 5th of September, Bob, a Saturday and Sunday afternoon. We'd like to invite all the race fans out to watch Super Stock action. I have an comment for you, Bob, that you may find interesting, maybe even humorous, I'm not sure, but looking at Jim Smith's 74 Nova, well, it might interest you to know that Jim Brandt, a mechanic on Superstock number 55, and myself are presently building a 74 Nova Street Stock racer, probably be out next year.
Are you kidding me? You and who?
Jim Brandt.
Really?
Yes, the mechanic for the Jim Gaunt Car 55 crew. I couldn't sell the Nova, so I'm turning it into a street stock.
What about Thunder Racing? Any interest in that?
No, I think I'm just a little too old, a little too smart. I'm not sure which.
Okay, well, they'll reline the cars here, and the way they should sit would be number 5, Pepe's Ice Cream Machine. That's, of course, written by Wes Gaken. And notice the for sale sign on it. If anybody's watching us right now and you see car number 5, it's got a for sale sign on the passenger side behind the window. Then we'll have number 1, that's Jim Smith, on the inside lane number 2, outside number 44. Gilbert McKinnon of Saskatoon in a 68 Pontiac Beaumont. In row 3, number 14 on the outside. Wade Wolford of Saskatoon, number 77. That's the Black Beauty, Dave Allard, Biggers, Saskatchewan, 67 Buick. 88 in the back row outside, Mace Canute of Saskatoon. Did he not win the Thunder Car, everything, all the points championship last year, or was it Darren Swearwood?
Bob, I'm not sure. I do believe it was
Barry Stefanik.
81, when I think Mace was perhaps 2nd or 3rd. As a point of interest, car 88 and car number 9 both feature Thunder car racers. Kevin Eby raced Thunder last year, as did Mace Canute. Both are up in the street stock class this year. Kevin competing against his dad in some of the street stock races.
Kevin showed a lot of jam and a lot of guts, a lot of intestinal fortitude as a 16 or 17-year-old racing them Thunder cars. He just wouldn't back down at all, would he?
No, he didn't. He tried very hard and gave good account of himself. Made a lot of people sit up and take notice. He was chip off
the old block.
The old block.
Liz, you're talking about Liz, of course. Actually, I don't think she's got anything to do with it. But anyways, as we maybe, we're looking forward to watching a whole bunch of feature activity today. The Thunder cars, and Dave Curtin, who is the track announcer now, who took over from you, Dave Mansell, likes to play music behind the Thunder cars. And last week or 2 weeks ago, he played the 1812 Overture.
Yes.
And last night, Saturday night, here at the at Bridgecity Speedway, he played the 5th, Brahms' 5th.
I believe
or
so.
Beethoven's 5th. Somebody had a 5th anyway, and they played it. And today, I think he wants to play either Born to Boogie by Hank Williams Jr. or perhaps Born to Be Wild by Steppenwolf. And you remember those in your old high school days. They did have high school back then days.
Well, they were on stilts, but they were probably quite high.
Okay. Now the reason we're waiting here, we aren't in delay.
But we have a lot of racing this afternoon yet to come. We've got the Super Stocks, of course, Thunders, and our street stock feature race of the afternoon at 25 left.
And of course that feature race,
sales
and that's where the big money will come out of, in the top 10 right now. And if you want to just take a note of this for yourself, Wally Eby holds on to 1st place, followed by number 97, Brian Wilson. Mace Canute, who's on the track right now, number 88, is in 3rd place. Number 7, Scott Robbins of Regina is in 4th place. 5th, Derek Can of Milford, and he's finished. His engine's cooked, and I don't know what's going on. We'll have to see if he returns. And we've got number 15, Daryl Kozer of Regina. Then number 87, Terry Lay of Saskatoon. Number 93, Charlie Curtin is back. He had engine problems last night, but he's in 7th place or 8th place overall, and he's going for the biscuits today. Number 1, Jim Smith is 9th place, and overall number 99, Gary Swikenson of Prince Albert still has a chance if he can win the feature race here and maybe put in a couple of heat stocks or heat races as well.
Well, you bet, Bob. There's a lot of money up for grabs today, several $1,000s available to these drivers. That makes all the work through the Saturday night to get ready for Sunday afternoon worthwhile. I recall an interesting episode last year at our Street Stock Invitational when a fellow from Lloydminster came down and blew up. After the racing Saturday night, they drove back to Lloyd, got another engine, brought it back to Saskatoon, and got it in the car ready to race on Sunday. And these fellows are dedicated racers and just love to compete.
Absolutely dedicated.
Stock car racing.
Absolutely dedicated. Well, as you heard B.J. Wilson on that interview we ran earlier, just while we had a break here, it is expensive. The more sponsors you get, of course, the better off you can be.
Very grateful to the businesses and services that sponsor our stock car racing here at Bridgecity Speedway. Without sponsors, I don't think we could handle stock car racing.
Absolutely. It's a lot. It's an expensive sport. All right, well, they're getting ready. Bryce Young is standing in the flagman's area right now, waiting to get the green flag. Rick Elliott, of course, on the ground in Victory Lane will make sure that everybody's lined up properly before he gives them the go-ahead. I think what they're maybe doing is going around to warm up to get rid of some of the quick dry that's left on the track from the oil spill they cleaned up.
Yeah, they'll work that into the asphalt somewhat, clean it up. Probably do 6 or 7 laps that way, then we'll reform the field and get back to green and racing.
They've done some improvements here at Bridgecity Speedway. The stands themselves are they've added on to the media deck here, thanks to Mace Canute, we understand, who
Dave
built it.
And a few others.
Yeah.
A lot of hard work by some dedicated club personnel to put the booth extension together.
The red guide fence on the infield all the way around, which of course is for safety reasons and insurance reasons. We used to have the racers coming in and out of the same area of the track. Now they come out one end and go in the other end, which speeds things up here immensely at Bridgecity Speedway.
It really has improved the performance here of our races. It speeded up the time lag between races by bringing the cars onto corner 1 and taking the racers as they finish the race off on the back straightaway, Bob.
Much to the credit of President Archie Hutchings, who we also talked with earlier today. We will see that interview when we get a chance. Okay, let's line them up here. We have Wes Gaken, number 5, and then number 44, Gilbert McKinnon of Saskatoon. Number 1, Jim Smith, and number 86 is Brian Johnson of Saskatoon and the Monte Carlo. Those are the top 4 as we get set to start this heat, because we had the misfortune before they actually got a lap finish, so they'll start the whole 15 laps all over again. Well, will they not?
That's right, Bob. We'll go back to a complete race start, and here we go with the green flag down.
And they're off. Immediately, Wes Gaken holds on to that first place, and Wes, with the speed of his car and the experience that he has, if he doesn't run into some mechanical problems, he should have no trouble finishing this race in first place.
Wes has got quite a competitive machine. Looks now Jim Smith is working him pretty hard on the outside.
Oh, we have a spin on corner number 1. It looks like they've still got oil problems there as Gilbert McKinnon's car rolls out on top of corner number 1. So that'll put him back and out of this heat race as Wes Gaken and Jim Smith 1-2, and a pretty good lead over the third place car of number 86, Brian Johnson of Saskatoon. That number 1 corner is turning out to be a real treacherous corner today. We've kind of thought it would be number 3, but it's turning out to be corner number 1.
I guess the Gremlins have switched their place of residence from corner 3 to corner 1 for today, Bob.
Well, let's see what happens when Wes Gaken goes into that number 1 corner. He seems to have control of his car. Jim Smith skids out just a little bit. 86, Brian Johnson controls his car. And the race right now, I would think, is going to be for third place. And here comes number 88, Mace Canute, coming in on the inside on corner number 4, and he's got third place. Okay, so there you go. You've got Wes Gaken, Jim Smith, and number 86 is Brian Johnson, who is now in third place. Or is it number 88, Mace Canute, who's hanging on to third?
It's Mace Canute in car number 88. Bob running in third at present. Jim Smith still filling up the rearview mirror of that number 5 car.
Number 86 car of Brian Johnson trying desperately to catch up with the rest of the field, but really it is only a 2-car race right now for first and second. And that would be Wes Skaken in number 5 and number 1 Jim Smith. And they're pretty close to each other, just a couple of car lengths difference, but it tightens up in the corners quite, well, they're quite close actually. There's about a half a car. But see, Wes Skaken seems to have the power where Jim Smith seems to get pulled away on in the straightaways, Dave.
It looks like Wes has got a little edge on the number 1 car.
This, we should mention, is the cars. These are the cars that were the slowest qualifiers in the time trials first thing today at Bridgecity Speedway. We're talking Sunday, July 26th there, day 2 of the Bridgecity Speedway Saskatoon Stock Car Club Street Stock Invitational. And I'll tell you what, it's nice to see stock car racing making a big comeback in Saskatoon. And the racing gets better each time out. The fans are certainly getting their money's worth, dollar for dollar. I don't know if you can find better entertainment anywhere in this province.
Look at Mace Canute taking the inside groove on Wes Skaken and getting through in the inside through corner 4. You got a new race leader down the back chute they have.
Yeah. Just came up, steady on the pedal to the metal, and away he came. And now, of course, Wes Skaken's job is to catch Mace Canute, who has made the transition from Thunders to street stocks quite smoothly. It's a quick little car that Mace Canute is driving. Jim Smith still holding on to third place, but he's being, well, he's all of a sudden there's no contest there as Jim Smith has fallen behind quite seriously. Here they come as Mace Canute is going to try to lap the car of number 77, Dave Allard, and he did. And now Wes Skaken will try to take over on the outside. Let's see if he's successful. Mace Canute now getting quite a good lead on Wes Skaken. Coming around the front stretch now, it's Mace Canute, Wes Skaken, and Jim Smith in car number 1 in third place. Now, how does this work now? The top 4 from each heat race will go to the winner's race after, or the top 3?
The top 3 from each of the 3 heats, Bob,
okay,
will go into the winner's race, and the rest will join in the consolation race.
Got 5 laps remaining in this 15-lap street stock heat race, the third of 3, as we try to determine who will be in the winner's race and who will be in the consi race, the consolation race for street stocks. Of course, anyone who doesn't qualify in the top 3 gets a chance to be in the consolation race.
Okay, the white flag just came out to your leader, Mace Canute in car 88. And half a lap left in this.
Well, and it's barring any
heat race
breakdown, it's Mace Canute, Wes Skaken, and the number 1, I believe, Jim Smith. Will finish in that order, quite well spread out. There he is, Mace Canute. Wins himself a street heat race here, followed by Wes Skaken, and then Jim Smith from Smith Racing in car number 1.
Nice drive for Mace Canute.
We're going to take a little break, and when we return, we'll have more racing. I believe we'll return with the Thunderstock racing here at Bridgecity Speedway.